Good morning. Here we are at the back of the van. Generally, this area is called the garage because this is where you have your tools and all kinds of extra things. Mine is in transition at this point. I'm still working out my new design and what's going to go up top of here and what's going to stay down here. So today, right now, I'd like to show you how I actually shave the head. Not that it's that big of a deal, but for some people it is a weird thing because there are a couple of steps. So here's how it goes. Next in here, I have a little mirror. I put this little guy up right here. So that helps with the razor stuff. Oh, that guy. Wow. First off is always the water. Now, unfortunately, this is not warm water. This is a little on the chilly side. It's just whatever the temperature is outside right now and in the bottle. Step two is I just soak my head with the water. I get out the soap, lather my head, and then shave it off. Seems pretty simple, but there is still a strategy. Face first, sides, then the top, then the back. That's the order in which I chose to do it because based on how fast the soap dissipates. So now because the water's cold, the blades don't clean very fast. So sometimes there's a little monkeying around trying to get the soap and everything off the blade to do the next shavy part. So here we go. In here underneath is where the blade is. In my case, it's a disposable, the brush, and then the soap. Let's take the water. Like I said, not too glamorous. Cold water's not all that fun. That's how it works. Oh, gotta do it quick before my head dries. Get soap all lathered up. And next is, then the first swipe begins. Now I have a peculiar thing I like to do. I like to shave the opposite side of my face with the opposite hand. So I switch it up as I go. I go up because this is always the toughest spot right around in here. So after I go down, I go up, and then that's pretty much, you can hear it changes sound, or at least that's how it sounds to me. Okay. And then lastly is, or second last, is the head. Then I go this side. Back's gonna be the hard part. Try to get around the ear. And then I go up. And I do the other side. I do the back as well. One thing I've noticed that's interesting is my hair grows differently on one side than the other, has a different curvature to how the hair comes out. So this side here, this spot, I always got to do a little differently. But then when I get to the other side, it curves around sideways. So I kind of have to go with the grain of the hair in order to get a smooth shave. Now, it's all clean, I can feel it, it's all good. I just wash off, and that's it. That's how I shave. Not that exciting, but there is a strategy, and every part of it has to work just right, or it's a drag. I usually shave every other day. With my hair being super fine, it's either got to be really long or really short. When I used to take off a baseball hat, my hair would flip up and I'd look like a dandelion walking around, so it was brutal. So I decided, time to shave, and that was years ago, and I love it. I've been shaving ever since. That's the shaving technique, the strategy that I use. Next is Starlink. I have a Starlink hack that I think people would appreciate. See you in a minute. Gotcha. So today, I'd like to show you so it's mini Starlink. This is the little one that is, I'll show you, it is only a little bit bigger than a notebook. There's only 3 parts to this: the plug itself, the cord, and the dish. Now, normally, you take this part out here and you plug it into a wall socket. And right there is where this here cord plugs in. One end plugs in to the bottom of this guy here, and the other end plugs into here. Setting it up is pretty simple, it's pretty straightforward. The power I would normally plug into my solar generator, the Blue Eddy, and then I put this dish on the roof. However, there is a little workaround here. Suppose you wanted to go climb somewhere or sit somewhere and you're further away than the cord. That's where this comes in. And this is a little power bank, 100 watts. There you go, 100-watt power bank. So I plug the cord into here, right there, boom, lights up, and you can see right here, the blue light is on. When that's on, that means the dish is receiving power. So that's it, that's all I need, because the router is inside here and sending out the Wi-Fi signal. So what I do is here is I pick it up, I put it on the roof. There we have it. Part 2 is I take my cell phone and I open up the Starlink app, connect it, connecting. Usually takes 10-20 minutes, 10-20 seconds. So right there is optimizing connection. Slide down here and I go to alignment, and it will actually tell me where to adjust, or what. It'll tell me which angle. So I put the phone here and I adjust the dish, and it'll tell me if I need to adjust it more in one direction or another. So right there, it's off, so I need to turn it more in this other way. Boom. There we go. Now, Starlink is aligned. As you can see, I'm fairly close to some trees. But it's still giving me reading. At a friend's place, crashing for a few days on their lot, and figured I'd show you how this works. Now the next part is, go back to here. Then try the test, the speed test. And the speed test whips around, and here we are. Right around 140-ish, give or take. So up top here, I've got Wi-Fi. If I go to my emails, I can check them. I can go to YouTube, check it, everything. Now what I've also noticed is my range from the van keeps working. Let's go back to the speed test. So at this range away, I'm still getting a pretty good signal. But this far away, no problem. And that's, I don't know, 70 feet, 60 feet. It's been quite a interesting purchase and setup. It's pretty good. I like it. Being able to have it this convenient really is pretty cool. Just having it like that and like this. Nice simple setup. Having the simple setup like that I can do it anywhere is pretty cool. Now, the other side, the dark side, is for this little charger. I just got to make sure I keep charging it up so it's working. I could plug directly into my Bluetti, and because obviously that's very close, that's not a problem. That's convenient if I want to go sit in a park bench and have the van parked someplace else. So it's good that way. What I've also noticed is I'm not spending as much time on the internet. I'm not watching as many videos and things like that. I'm doing life more because I can turn on, turn off at will. Versus before, when I was near my dad's place, I would surf a lot more because the signal was always close by. This, because I have to set it up and take it down, that changes my patterns and my habits a bit, which isn't a good thing. So I'm not spending as much time in the Wi-Fi, on the Wi-Fi, and around it. I'm doing other things. I'm actually reading more. The first book I read this week was, boom, Out of Body Adventures. I've decided with my spare time I'm going to do more reading, more body work and health-minded orientation, I suppose. So this is my first book. It was really good, really excited. I started a second book right over here, and it's called Big Ideas, 50 of them. And it covers topics by Plato and Aristotle and all these other things, the Golden Rule, liberty, soul, fire, etc., etc. So these are ancient conversations that have been going on for the last 2,000 or so years by different people, and why these are classical works and how they've influenced society and technology and culture and all these other different things. So it's kind of a history of the world in a way, but they're the ideas that started trends and directions throughout our society. So I'm finding it pretty cool. I've only gone through the first chapter, but it's been pretty good so far. One of the things that's cool about it is in the first part, which is about Plato, he talks about many different things. He gave lectures on and stuff. So his philosophy is based on the fact that we existed somewhere before we got a body. And as we come through the birth canal or the birthing process, we lose the memory of where we were, but why we even came. And then our life is spent trying to remember why we came here and what our journey is supposed to be. So it's an interesting perspective because he relates to this place that has forms, and these forms exist in this other realm where our spirit or soul comes from. And we already know everything ahead of time. We know about math, we know about science, we know about life. But as I said, when we get born into the body, we lose that memory and we spend this life trying to recapture it. Interesting philosophy. Anyhow, that's Plato in a nutshell. Hope that makes some kind of sense and is interesting to you today. There's probably a lot more to know about it. He's got something like 35 very specific lectures that he spoke on that go into much greater detail, which I'm not going to do. This is a short summary. The next one is on Aristotle. So by the end of these 50 ideas, I'll have a little bit more of an understanding of how basics began in thinking directions. So that'll be neat. Anyhow, that's all I got for today. Hope the Starlink thing was cool to you. And my challenge to try and read, I don't know, a book every couple weeks. I've got a big stash of books inside my tote down here. And it's time to read them instead of dragging them around. So that's what I'm doing. I have a third book that I started into a little bit last night. Adventures Beyond the Body, How to Experience Out of the Body Travel. So I read this a long time ago. So I'm just rereading it and checking it out. Thought it'd be good to know on the heels of the other book I just finished. So between the 3 books, my days of reading are going to be hopefully better and deeper and more aware than before. Anyhow, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. Hope you were inspired in some way to do something. And I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.